What's going on, everybody? As you can see, still don't have my camera yet. Gonna do the best I can with my phone this week and see what I can get done. Probably only shoot one, maybe two videos, but I'm gonna do the best I can. Stick around. Got a lot to talk about.
Right across these plains and prairies, Rocky Mountain highs, fade off into the distance like ghost riders in the sky. Black smoke and white line, still horses south.
All right, first off, welcome back to Patriot Specialized. Thanks for tuning in today. Today's episode, a little bit different because of my camera situation. I don't really, the background, my phone doesn't do a really good job of recording while outside with a bunch of background noise. I'm not real sure it's doing a great job right now, but I'll see what I can do on editing and try to get the volume the right way, but we'll see what we can get done. But man, last week's struggles, which I'm going to do a video, I promise you, I will do a video as soon as I get my GoPro back, which is back at the house now. I've received confirmation that it was delivered today. Today's Tuesday. So it was delivered today. I just got to get home now to get it. So as soon as I get my GoPro back, I am going to do a video on the struggles from last week that actually continued on to Monday of this week. And kind of give you an indication of what happened there and how that went, and hopefully my struggles will help some of you in the future with making decisions and doing things like that, because that was man, what a week, just one thing after another last week. So we're going to talk about that once I get my GoPro back and I have my microphones and everything. You guys will be able to hear me a lot better. But this time, today, we are going to talk about this week so far, which has been pretty good. With a little bit of snafu in the Monday morning. As you saw in the last video, I booked a combine out of Amherst, Ohio, going to Baltimore that I was supposed to pick up Monday morning. And I took off, I got home, went to go get that Monday. A little bit of weird situation on Saturday. The agent called me and said, the broker, I should say, called me and said, hey, the one in Amherst isn't going to be ready quite as early as we thought Monday morning. Would you like to do one out of Butler, Ohio, going the same place? And I said, yeah, whatever. It really doesn't. They're about the same distance, so that works for me too. So that's what I did. I took the Butler. Maybe should have waited for the Amherst. In the end, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So what happened there was I left the house pretty early Monday morning. I got home Saturday. I left North Carolina, ran up to Whitfield, Virginia, stayed in Whitfield, Virginia for the evening, Friday night. Rolled out at about 6:15 in the morning, Saturday morning, and I got home about 12:30 or so Saturday afternoon. In the meantime, the broker on that load called me and told me about the switch in location. So Monday morning, I left at about 6 or so in the morning, ran down to Butler, got on site, and I didn't get any video or any pictures of that because, again, because of this camera situation. But I got on site there. There was a combine, a 9600 John Deere. So I walked up to it, and when I booked the load, the ad on Internet Truck Stop said that it was 29 foot long, 13 wide, 13 tall. I said, okay, I can work with that. Those dimensions I can work with. None of that will require me to have escort. So I get there. I got the rate agreement on Saturday from them, and the dimensions on the rate agreement said 28 foot long, 12 foot 5 wide, and 1311 tall. There's a big difference between 13 foot and 1311 in our world, as most of you know. So that concerned me a little bit. But when I got on site, first thing I did, obviously, because those dimensions were concerning me, I told nobody to do anything. I told everybody, don't do a thing until I get there and I confirm these dimensions. I'm doubting it. I don't think they're right. So I get there and I pull the tape on the front tires. First off, there's nobody there. I'm at a barn in the middle of nowhere. Nobody around. Nobody. I'm just walking around the barn, climbing up on this combine. Nobody. I was kind of waiting for somebody to come investigate who the crazy guy was that was walking around their property without having permission. So nobody came. So I thought, you know what? I'll go ahead and get these measurements done. That way when somebody does come, because eventually somebody, maybe the police for all I know, somebody's going to come wonder what the heck this guy's doing. So I started to pull my tape, and the front wheels, first off, the back wheels on a combine, they move in and out. You unbolt them, slide the axles in, bolt them back together. They can be pretty skinny, or they can be super wide, whatever the farmer needs. So in this case, they were out on the second holes. So interior, inside a tire into inside a tire with the tape measure, I measured that to see if, and it was going to straddle the trailer. This thing was like 11 foot wide on the inside. So I'm like, all right, well, first off, somebody needs to get out here and they need to move these things in. And then we'll get a good measurement on how big that'll be. It would look like between both holes, it was about 8 inches on each side. So that should have slid in 16 inches. I did the math on it. We would have been okay on that. So I measured the front tires, the big tires that are on a combine. And the outside measurement that I got on that, because that's what matters, is outside measurement, those were not coming off, and I knew that. They were going to be on the unit no matter what. So my concern was, how wide are they? And how tall is this thing going to be with those tires on? So I measured the width. I came out to 13.6. 13 foot 6 inches outside to outside. That's a problem. 13 foot is where everything gets sketchy. So we needed an escort, is what the bottom line was there. Or they needed to do something, take the tires off or whatever. So I'm like, all right, so I know what that measurement is. I'm going to continue getting my measurements so that I have them all ready, so I know what I'm dealing with here. So I pull my high pull out, I pull the high pull up on top of this thing, and it's got door flaps up on top. There's 4 door flaps where the chute comes out that runs back to the back, it connects in and runs back to the back, and that's what shoots into the whatever trailer the farmer's using to catch the corn or whatever it is they're harvesting and shoot it out into that. So that chute was sticking up a little bit, and those doors weren't able to close all the way. That measurement on top of that came out to almost 14 foot on the ground. So I'm like, all right, well, that can't, that obviously can't be. We can't have that way. So I climb up there and I look, and it looks like with a little bit of finagling, you get that chute to come down, those doors will close. So I measured that as if the doors would have been closed, and we were 12 foot 9. So 12 foot 9 I can work with. 12 foot 9 I can do without needing a pull car. So the money on this load was not good enough for me to be able to support an $1,100 escort charge. So I was able to, at least I thought I was able to, eliminate a pull car. Didn't know how I was getting around the width issue and need a chase car. So I called the broker on it, and I said, listen, this thing's 13.6 wide. I don't see any way around it. I don't think these guys are going to take these tires off. Nor, if they do take the tires off, then you have to pay a service fee at the port to have them put the tires back on in order for me to unload this thing. And she's like, well, we can't pay any service fee. This is all the money we got in it. And I'm like, well, then you need to come up with $1,100 for an escort. And she's like, wow, this is all the money we have in it. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take it. Like, I'm going to have to turn down this load. And now I've wasted 4 or 5 hours of my life coming here to get it because your dimensions weren't correct. So I called my dispatch and I'm like, listen, this is what's going on. And as that conversation was going, she said, I felt like something was sketchy going on here, because what we found out was that this particular broker, and I'm not going to say their name, it doesn't really matter. Maybe they'll fix their situation and you guys can use them. And I don't want to tarnish anybody anymore. They already tarnished themselves. But this particular broker, someone had filed on their surety bond 7 times. 7 times. Somebody has said, this customer has not paid me, and I need paid. I don't like hauling freight for free. Ace Duran doesn't like hauling freight. Ace Doran doesn't like hauling freight for free. A&H sure don't like hauling freight for free. So, not interested. Just not. So what we ended up doing, I called the broker back and I said, listen, not only is this thing wide and you are not willing to cover the cost of escorts on this, we're also into an assurance bond issue, and I'm not comfortable with that. So I'm going to have to pass on this load, and good luck getting it covered. You need to come and put it back on the board. So that's what happened there. Now, in the meantime, dispatch, while I'm on the phone with Andrea, she says, hey, I've got a real heavy mill roll out of Canton, Ohio, to go to the other side of Lima, Ohio, or the other side of Ohio to Lima. Would you want it? And I said, what kind of money you got on it? And it was fantastic money for the run it was. So I said, yeah, I'll go get it. I could be there in an hour and 15 minutes. So I take off, I go to Canton, I load that thing. This was a little bit tricky. She's heavy. She's a heavy girl. First time I have ever seen my trailer put on the ground. They set that piece down, and my trailer hit the concrete all the way across. So that is typical. The trailer will drop down. When anybody knows, drives truck, knows it. When you put freight on a trailer, the trailer will drop down a little bit, and then the airbags will start increasing the air, and they'll get it built back up to the pressure it's supposed to be, and then it'll be to ride height. Those airbags will always go to the ride height. So eventually, it will get back to ride height. Man, that thing set that thing on the ground, and the crane guy and I looked at each other like, oh, this might not be good. And I said, well, I'll give it a minute. Let the airbags do their job. And in the end, they brought it back up to ride height, just like it should be. But it took a few minutes. It took a few minutes on that one for that thing to build the air back up. But we did get it, and I didn't get any pictures of that thing. I wish I would have. I did pull my SD card out of the cameras on the truck. So I may be able to recover some footage of hauling that thing and what it looked like, and you guys get a chance to see it. But I didn't get any securement on it at all. But basically, I had on that load, it was roughly 80,000 pounds, 17 feet long, 80,000 pounds. I was asking my trailer for a lot. But it handled it. Handled it great. The trailer really didn't fight with me at all. So what I did with that for securement was, instead of doing any sort of X chain, because you start half adjustment your chains, where you start only getting half credit for them, and the amount of chains you have to put on just starts going way up fast. So what I devised a way with that thing to be able to run side to side and get all the way across the trailer, so I got full credit for every chain. So I had 2 chains on the front, 2 chains on the back, which it had like ears on the side of it. It was a perfect round cylinder, had ears on the side of it, and I used those to wrap around, come across the front, down the freight, pulling both directions on both ends. So there was 4 chains right there, and I got full credit for, and I threw another 2 over top of it, and got full credit for those as well. So had plenty of securement on it for the weight that it was. Ran that down. I picked that up I got there about 1 o'clock or so Monday afternoon. Ran it over to Lima, Ohio. It was a 156-mile run, very short. I'll put up a screenshot of where it's at. Very short run. Took it over there. They weren't able to unload me Monday afternoon when I got there. They had already gone home by the time I was going to get out there. So I spent the night 16 miles away. Ran over there this morning, delivered it at 7 o'clock this morning. Super great delivery, super fast delivery. At the pickup, they backed me right in, loaded me, got me out. At the delivery, they backed me right in the door, picked it up, took it out. So it was great load, great deliveries on both ends. Everything went real smooth there. Yesterday afternoon, I had booked a load. I saw this load. It was a 150 mile deadhead from where I was to get out to Greenfield, Indiana. It was an excavator, Komatsu PC 308, See a picture of that. I took some pictures of that one. I'm going to put those pictures up now. They had a real nice, like when I started pulling out of there, they had a real nice building with the American flag there, and I just said, man, this would make a great picture. So I stopped and popped a few pictures right there. So I'll put those up so you guys can see them. You're probably seeing them right now. I went and picked that thing up. The catch with that thing was, and this is something that is great for the channel, this excavator is 72,000 pounds. 72,000 pounds on 6 axles is tricky to get the weight right. You can do it. You can haul it. If your empty weight is as light as mine, you can do it. So what I did there was, because I knew there was a weight issue, and I knew that the concern from the guy that I got the load from and myself was that Virginia is very, very particular about their axle weights. And most of the time, from what I understood before, which is different understanding now, but from what I understood before was the Virginia will only give you 54,000 on a Tridom, on a single trip permit. That's not true. I thought that was true, but that is not true. They will give you 60,000 on a Tridom axle. That's what my 3 axles on my trailer is called, a Tridom. They will give you 60,000 pounds. So knowing that, after talking to my permit department, finding that out, I said, okay, so I can get 60 on a trailer. Can we get 44 on the drive tires? 22 per axle. That's the max Virginia will give you on a single trip permit, is 44,000. So I said, okay, what I need to do here is keep this below. My steer axles never go above 11,000. Never. The placement of my kingpin or my fifth wheel, it's just the way that works out. My steer axle is never above 11,000. So I'm currently sitting at, with this load on, currently sitting at 10,750 pounds on my steer axle. My drives, Virginia would only give me 44. They were the least of all the states I was going to, so I went ahead and focused my attention on getting the 60,000 on the trailer and the 44,000 on the drive tires. Was successful. I can't believe it, but it is so close that I actually was over by 340 pounds on my drive tires in Indiana and Ohio and West Virginia. However, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia will give me more weight on my drive tires. My Ohio permit gave me 25,000 per axle, so they gave me 50,000 pounds that I was allowed to have on my drive axles in Ohio. So that 340 pounds that I was over is only an issue in Virginia because they're the only ones that gave me 44,000. By the time I get from Indiana to Virginia, that was the time I scaled it, I had a full tank of fuel. So by the time I get from Indiana to Virginia, going through these hills in West Virginia, going through all the mountains, I'm gonna burn off 340 pounds worth of fuel or 360 pounds worth of fuel. No doubt in my mind. I'm already down to half a tank of fuel. So I'm not gonna get fuel tonight, and I'm gonna run this thing the rest of the way in. I'm gonna get unloaded, reloaded, because I have a load book. I'm gonna get unloaded, reloaded, and then I'm gonna get fuel. So that 340 pounds is not gonna come into play in Virginia. So I actually managed to be successful, and I'll put up the scale ticket so you could see what the scale ticket looks like on this particular load. This is a 72,500 pound excavator. That's what it came out to weigh. 72,500 pounds on 6 axles. And coming from Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, into Virginia. That's what you're seeing now. That's what I was able to do with the permits on this one. Now, this one, I'm sitting 5 hours out of my delivery right now, a little bit further away than I wanted to be. I was really hoping to be about 2 to 3 hours out. A little bit further than I wanted to be. Just ran out of daylight, ran out of logbook. So it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. So I'm going to try to bust out of here. I think curfew will lift at 6:30 in the morning. I'm going to try to roll out of here at 6:30 in the morning. Get down to delivery. Should be somewhere around noon by the time I pull these hills. It's going to take me, a little bit extra time. So should be around noon tomorrow. My pickup that I booked a load out of, this load is going to Hampton, Virginia. The pickup I'm getting came out of Chesapeake, Virginia. It's a boom lift, 49,000 pounds, legal dimensions, pretty good load. Great pay for where it's going. It's only going just under 300 miles. So I'm gonna pick that up. It's only 35 miles from my delivery in Hampton, so I'll pick that up. I'll get this delivered about noon. Hopefully I'll be over there to pick that up about 1 o'clock, get out of there about 2. I'll run it as far as I can, maybe all the way up there. I don't know. We'll see what the permit routing is for the week. Then I may run it all the way up, and then we'll deliver that Thursday morning. So last week, struggle, big time struggle, and I am going to talk about that. I am going to do it because I think there's a lot to learn inside that, inside my last week's struggles. I think there is a lot to be taken away from that. So I am going to do a video on that, and I'm just going to wait till I got my GoPro and get a little bit better audio for that. So, hope everybody enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I apologize for the lack of video content in here other than me talking, but unfortunately that's what I'm working with a handicap right now, and I think I'm as most handicapped people, I'm overcoming my handicap. So I appreciate everybody tuning in the channel. Again, as always, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and this is the first video you watch, check out some of my other videos. I got some interesting stuff on there. If you like the channel, like what you see, please consider subscribing to the channel. Helps me out, helps the channel out, and I really I like watching those numbers grow. So if you're coming back to the channel, man, you guys are awesome. Like, as always, you guys are awesome. I love all the comments that I'm getting. I appreciate everybody takes the time to comment. I try to get back to everybody as quick as I can. I know I haven't on the last video, and I apologize for that. But man, I'm telling you, I got home Saturday afternoon. I was done. I didn't even want to think about a truck. I didn't want to look at a truck. I didn't want to look at the channel. I just didn't care. I just wanted to spend time at home and do absolutely nothing. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and we will see you on the next one.